If you've ever done web design before, this is probably not the way to do it, but I'm just going to build it all in browser from scratch. No wireframes, no design mockups. We're just going to have a play around with HTML, CSS. Good evening, Ivan, or Ivan. So I'm basically just going to build my homepage for my new portfolio website, which I've been meaning to do for a long time now. I'm just using basic CSS. I'm using PHP files so I can create multiple pages, but I can include that in my header file, so I only have to do the work once. Photoshop tutorials will be coming, just having a bit of a break. It's just a chill out session. If you want to hang around and see what I create, then thank you very much. If you're looking for Photoshop tutorials, then they'll probably be coming later on next week. Is learning website building hard? To be honest, I think the basics are quite easy to pick up. If you spend like a couple of weeks, a couple of months just following a couple of tutorials on YouTube, I'm sure you could pick it up quite quick. So I'm just using Sublime Text as a text editor to do all my building, and I'm using WAMP, which lets me host PHP files on my computer. Morgan, how you doing, bud? KOE10, you want me to do a breakdown of my Liverpool design, do you? Yes, mate, I'm doing good, thanks. Had a little bit of a break last month, but busy. Yes, KOE10, I will do a breakdown of my Liverpool design. No problem, mate. Has anyone in the chat actually tried any web design before? Or web development? Why won't you tab? No, you're right, John. Unless you work for a company that you just maintain their own websites, I guess it's hard to compete with freelancers as well these days. It's a huge market for web development, though. It's been a while since I've done some web design, I'm not gonna lie. I mainly do web development in my full-time job, and that's working with ColdFusion programming language. It's been a while since I built anything from scratch. And this is definitely not the way to do it. Building it in browser. There's no plan whatsoever with this. Don't even know what I'm doing, yeah. So we want flags. Run width 100. Yeah, I'm not a massive, I don't really do theme building that much. I mainly work in the e-commerce sector, so we do a lot of obviously e-commerce shops, but we've also built our platform from scratch using ColdFusion, and obviously JavaScript as front end. So I tend to do a lot of work for companies that already have websites, and it's just adding new features. It's very little web design work out there at the moment. So I had an idea before I started, I just don't know what I'm doing now. And this is why you should always design before you start building, I guess. Because now I just cannot get it to do what I want it to do. That's what I wanted to do. Have a good one, John. Thank you for joining. Okay. So change that to 70 viewport height. It does that. With the image rather than so much easier if I built this on Webflow. Drag and drop seems to be the thing these days. So I think we're going to add a section underneath this now. In fact, I think we're going to get rid of the hero image. Or should we keep it? I was going to do a little intro with a portrait shot of myself there, and in the next section I think we're going to do perhaps recent work. Create a section, and then we want recent work. I'm going to add some padding to the top and bottom just to separate it up a little bit. And we want to create a grid of about, we'll do the last 4. So this is going to be the work boxes, and then we want 4 of these. Work boxes, we want to display as flags, and then work boxes they're going to be 25%. Cool. Let's put the height to 300 pixels for now. Hello, Tommy. We'll set a background just so that we can see what we're actually doing with it. Okay, so now we need to separate them out. I'd rather have a bit of a gap between them, so we're going to add a 10 pixel margin. But it's pushed it out. So on the work boxes, we're going to bring the margin back in. 10 pixels either side. So that it should all line up okay. Something's going on here though. Let's have a look. It's still alright. Oh, it's because it's called box. I think I'm including something. Okay. Why does nothing ever go right when you stream something? Oh, we don't want margin, do we? We want padding. These are now called boxes. We do want margin, but we want 5 pixels. Oh, it just does not want to do what I want it to do. Okay, so we're gonna just do one, so it works out the flexes itself. Don't look in line, does it? It's because it's not. Margin. It is. Even like that, it looks like it's. Okay. So change this back to 5. Is that any better? No, it's still. What the? So width is 1100 pixels. That looks like it's starting to keep in line, which is great. I'm actually going to make the header slightly bigger. Add some details. So we're going to have, I'm just going to use a div element where my image is going to be, and then we're going to have a title for our project, a bit of blurb, and then we're going to have a view project. Let's add an icon here. Let's see if I can remember what it's called. Yeah, that seemed to work, which is great because now we can take the height off. The height of the box, take the background off it because you don't need that. And we're going to do web boxes, image, and we're just going to set a height to this for now to 200 pixels. Give that a background so we can just see that it exists. And then we got a header 3 tag. I don't mind the font size on that yet, because we don't know how long our titles are going to be. I might take the margin bottom off though. And then same with blurb. Take the margin top off. Maybe bring that down to 5 instead of default. And then we're going to create a class for our buttons so that we can reuse them everywhere. So I'm going to call this a button. I'm going to put this at the top so I know where that is. So this is going to be, I'm going to do display block for now. And then we're going to give it a height of 45 pixels. Just give it a background of black, white text. Give it a line height of 45 pixels. We'll do 40. And we'll give it a text align of center. And then we've got an icon which we want to change the size of that down and add some padding to the left. So we'll move it across. And then I'll tell you what we'll do display flex. And then line item center. Just take the underline off. And then we're going to add a padding, 10 pixels. Like that. And then I'm going to justify it so that it's the space between. And that's pretty much what I wanted it to look like. And now we don't need this margin. Don't want the button going all the way across on this box though, so you're going to change it for this box only. I'm going to change the width to 200 pixels. It's not too big. 160. $120. There you go. I'm just going to generate some text. Go over lorem ipsum. I'm going to do, say, 20 words. And we're going to chuck this where our blurb will be going. This is so I can now sort out my line height on the p tags and the font size. So the line height I normally set around 26 pixels, and the fonts depends on the font size. And let's try 24. I don't want the font to be massive. Just gonna add some more padding to this section just to pad it out so that when I do my next section it separates it out. So I'm gonna do a section dot dark, say, and I'm gonna add a background. Actually, we won't call it dark, we'll call it grey. This is just a mock-up. So I'm going to create another section here. And this will be learn. This is where I'll probably put a bunch of YouTube links. And we want to add a grey class to this. So now we've got a grey section coming in there. And we're just going to create the footer. Putting in it. In fact, we might just call this section as well, so it adds the padding in. And I'm just going to put a copyright in here for now. To be honest, I'm happy with what we've done so far in 35 minutes. Let's go back to our learning. We're gonna put this as our YouTube. We'll just call it YouTube videos. And then we're gonna do boxes because we've got that class. And that times 3. In fact, we'll do boxes, boxes times 3. And an image. And then we're going to come here and reuse these classes. Okay. So now we want YouTube videos. And now we got 3 going across, which is exactly what I wanted. And then for this, I'm just adding YouTube title, YouTube blurb, and a watch video. .fal arrow right. Great. We might add blurb here as well. Watch the latest videos from the YouTube channel. I'm going to add one more section. I'm going to leave this one white. This one is going to be the clients. So clients I've worked with. So I'm going to do clients like that. And then I'm going to call this client list. And we're just going to show, say 8. So we got client list. And we're going to put this as a display flex. And we're going to do a flex wrap. And then we add a client logo, was it? Yeah. Client logo, flex. And I want it to keep the same width. So we're going to do 50. I'm going to set the height to 50 because it's going to be an image. Again, just set a background so we can view it. Make it circle. Okay. Gonna change this to 120. Then we're gonna add margins. 10 pixels. Box off for now. So this is going to be clients. So clients, I'm going to put it as display flex so that client's text comes next to all the logos. We're going to align the items so that they're in the center. That, and then client list, that needs to be flex full, and clients header should be flex, not 1. I'm going to put it at 230 pixels for a minute. Now I can change these back to 70 pixels. So I'm gonna add another one back in for a minute. Probably make those a little bigger. I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. I think until I get all my images together, there's not really much more I can do with regards to the layout, but I'm happy with the structure of it so far. If you've never done web design before, it can be very up and down. It's a good skill to have. I've been doing it now for 10, 12 years, mainly developing, not so much designing. But if you can build your own website, you know, the limitations that you get by using drag and drop stuff, you know, they kind of aren't there. So this is why I always choose to build it from scratch myself. So if there's any certain features that I want to add, then it's pretty easy for me to, you know, do it myself. Or if I don't know how to do it, you know, there's always Google, YouTube, which, you know, there's other people telling you how to do it. You learn how to do that, add it to your website, and you know, it's certain things you can't have on out of the box platforms. Thank you to everyone who decided to join me for something a bit different this week. I know 99% of my videos are Photoshop tips, mainly sports stuff. So I wanted to try something a bit different this week, just so I can get back into the swing of recording, doing some videos. It's Friday night. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next week.